Hey everybody, welcome on in. Thank you everybody for joining. And now the camera's going to go dead. Oh, you. There we go. We're back. All right. Sorry about that. First, Dial's card. Welcome on in. Thank you so much, guys. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us here on this beautiful Tuesday night. Once again, greatly appreciate it to everybody. I had a little bit of an update with Streamlabs, and of course, it's always got to be technical issues whenever you're trying to go live. But here we are. We've made it, and we're here tonight. Once again, thank you everybody. So tonight we're going to be talking about allocations. Allocations going crazy again. This is something that we thought would be repaired. This is something that we thought we would have resolved for. This is something that we didn't think was going to be an issue again after Prismatic Evolutions. So here we are. And I haven't gotten my official allocations yet. I'm always like the last one on the group. That's just how it works, just because I'm low man on totem pole for how much I bring in, and possibly in the next few years as time goes on and I get seniority and as I get more into the account, things like that, we could potentially see that increase or at least be able to get it. But Danny Phantom's gotten his that I know of so far, and a couple other places I know of that have been really, really long-standing individuals with distro are starting to get their allocations. Danny is not very happy at all. I know some people may have seen his videos. If you have not, make sure you check out his channel, and he talks about allocations and the craziness that's involved with this right now. So definitely some big issues going to continue to be going on when it comes down to Journey Together, it looks like. So what's going on? I'd still like to know, we get that, I always call it the most non-descriptive message from Pokemon ever on, yeah, we're just going to print more stuff. Don't worry, guys, hold in. Well, why are we not able to get this product? I thought that they purchased a facility to be able to keep up with this product. I thought that they had done all these improvements and things after COVID to make sure that this stuff wouldn't happen. My question is what are they actually printing? Where is this printing allocation going for? Are they subbing this out? Are they subbing their allocations out longer and further in order to be able to are they doing other TCGs for people? Are they doing something else with these printing facilities? I don't know. It's just very, very odd that we cannot seem to get a set currently at this point in time that actually has a good release again. Twilight Masquerade kind of started this downward trend, this lower allocation rates for demand, but that could have just been, you could have put that up to the fact that it was the first set in Scarlet and Violet, that actually has had demand, and so we finally saw a spike. But then we went into Stellar Crown and kind of the same story. Allocations were a little bit lower. People still got most of what they wanted, but in general, for getting more product that wasn't available, Surging Sparks was the first one where they just did not print enough, and allocations were cut to stores. We didn't get all of our allocations when it came down to Surging Sparks. I mean, we did get the originally Surging Sparks was kind of a really interesting one because originally when it first came out for pre-order, it actually wasn't hard to get allocation for it. And actually, I had distributors calling me asking me if I wanted extra, and I took some extra. That's how I got a couple cases of ETBs extra. I got another case of sleeve blisters because I usually only get 3. So they were actually calling looking to get rid of some allocation at that point in time. And so it wasn't too bad with Surging Sparks, except for we had YouTube channels all of a sudden claiming that it was going to be short printed and all this other stuff. And all of a sudden it just got dried right up. So once again, it was one of those weird situations and where until YouTubers started claiming that it was short printed, you could have gone to, like I said, I had a distributor, I had ACD calling me asking me if I wanted more because they had no place to go with the allocation and they wanted to get rid of it. But about 2 weeks before release, all of a sudden it got all bought up because once again, we started seeing people talking about short print. And once that kind of went through the community, everybody started buying pre-orders. And so people that were ordering products ended up buying more from their distributor and that allocation went away. So, and then Prismatic Evolutions, of course, we got that disaster of a release where nobody got allocations. I mean, everybody was down to like under 20% of their allocations from what I could tell for everything. Even Danny Phantom's video made it look like he only got 25% of his allocations, and he's one of the long-standing people in this community when it comes down to that. So the fact that the allocations are continuing to go down and Pokemon is not adjusting to me is really, really interesting. It'd be really interesting to know why this is occurring. What does it mean for the market in general? It means that we're going to continue to stay in this little bit of a drought that we are currently having on where product is going to disappear faster than it can be put on the shelf. It's creating a heavier scalping market. we're really, really building in heavier and heavier into that scalping market, and that growth, and that like festering wound is continuing to get opened up more and more. And that is going to continue to create these markets and these issues in the markets that realistically it's going to be very difficult for businesses to continue to move forward. Businesses are going to have to make decisions, which was really, really tough, because even myself, you're starting to sit there and pull stuff that you maybe didn't want to sell because I have to fill the gap somehow in order to keep income coming in. I mean, even though I'm small, I still need to pertain a certain amount of income in order to, keep things moving and keep paying funds and things like that, to have money for the next allocation, because of course we always got to have that put away as well. So I think a lot of stores, even people that are like mine, where it's kind of an investment where we kind of store stuff back, are kind of dipping into that reserve that we have currently, because of the fact that we aren't getting product, but we have to keep our streams going. We have to keep our shops full of product to keep the traffic going. Because once you start losing that traffic, you start falling backwards. It takes a lot of time later, even if we get a ton of product. So let's just say right now, I didn't load up my store and didn't have anything for sale on like my TikTok store or on my Shopify or on my website and stuff like that. You're going to get to a point where they're going to stop putting your store as a up front so people see it, and you're going to do this little rollback where you're going to get less traffic to that store because you just don't have anything to offer. And TikTok and a lot of even Google and that is not going to send people to a store that doesn't have anything to buy, because it doesn't help them, it doesn't help anything. And so realistically, you're stuck in this conundrum now where, as the market side of things, you have to start pulling reserve, and hopefully people have built reserve like we talked about during the summer. People should have been building reserve for Black Friday through Christmas, this time of the year. Little did we know that reserve now is being transferred into actual income, because we got to keep things going. We got to keep sales moving. You got to keep these algorithms moving. You got to keep things in the right direction. Otherwise, eventually you just won't be in the flow of things. And that's going to be a bigger and harder concept for a lot of smaller businesses to understand, that they don't understand yet, or they're newer. They've just started in this hobby. They've only been going for maybe the last year and a half. And all that they've had is easy access product. They've been able to roll product very easily. They never had to think about reserve. They maybe took some overhead on with loans and things like that to try and build inventory and that kind of stuff, thinking that the next allocation was coming, so you could continue to just bankroll yourself into paying that off rather quickly. And now you're not in that particular point where you can't just go to the distributor and go find product, and you can't go and just go get heavy allocations of anything that you want for your streaming business. You can't go and find that product in the store shelves to try and, okay, the market's actually gone up and you can make money off of buying it from Walmart and Target and from GameStop and all these other sources that you would normally not purchase from with a distributor. But now it's your backup source, and now those make sense because the prices have gone up high enough. But now those are even dried up as well, because we got scalpers coming into the market that are now scalping, pulling, and ripping that product off the shelf. So it's kind of that trickle down effect that it's going to really bite some of the newer stores. And if you are newer and if you just started selling, if you have reserve that you've been wanting to save for yourself, that you potentially didn't want to sell, that you were considering it maybe a long-term investment, or if you're considering it something that you were going to save for a rainy day, you're in that rainy day. If you are letting your sales sites start to slip, where you are not getting consistent sales when it comes down to your sites and to your, if you're doing Facebook, it's the same with any site. Anything runs on an algorithm of sales. If you don't have product to sell, you're not going to get put on the list, and people start taking priority over you. So when they list products, they're always going to take priority over you until something changes in that algorithm, whether you have more product or you're going to spend a lot of money. There's a lot of ways you can push it, but it's really difficult to try and make up some ground when you've already built up that momentum you got going, and you're going to lose that momentum because of the fact that you don't have a large inventory. Like Danny Phantom, he has a large inventory. So it's not going to affect the bigger store as much as maybe these smaller mom and pop stores, these online stores, these allocations for streamers and that. This is the time to start pulling reserves. I hate to tell you that. I don't like pulling reserves myself, but it's definitely something that needs to be done. And it's definitely something you need to be looking at. Even if you can keep consistent sales right now in this particular market, it's going to be important for you futuristically when you're talking about this. And I just see, I'm going to do a quick thing. Pika Pika, thank you so much for being in here. And how you doing, my friend? Hopefully you're doing well. We got Spencer Harper in here. This is already the talk I needed, 100%. Perfect. This is exactly something that I want to talk about on the business front. I haven't talked about business. I'm wrapping in what's happening with the market, what you're looking at for investment, along with a business as well. So basically, there's kind of three fronts depending on what your situation is out there. Once again, I don't know everybody's individual situations, but I can speak for myself on how I kind of operate is that right now I'm having a pull reserve. So I just pulled out 2 boxes of Silver Tempest and Lost Origins sleeve blisters. They were supposed to be a long-term hold. I wanted to keep those back, but I've been forced to try and pull those so that I have more inventory for stream. I mean, this is literally all that I have left right here for any Scarlet and Violet sets right now. So that is it. So I got barely anything left. I got some Crown Zenith here and then this Obsidian Flames. And I actually got like the last bit of the 6-pack bundles. I bought those from Distro about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I bought the last bit of those trying to have something for opening, and they still had them, and I took them. There's these built-in battle boxes here as well. But, I mean, realistically, everything that I have left for sale is, like, right in here except for the UPCs back there. There's a Greninja UPC and a Terrapogus or Stellar Crowning UPC there, too, as well. So, basically, my amount that I have to sell is trickling down. It's getting really small. And I can't go to Distro and get more of it. I can't go to Walmart even and get more of it at this point in time. It is narrowing so much that I'm kind of being forced, and I know a lot of small companies should be looking at this fact that they should be looking at potentially pulling reserves. And this is why we build reserves in the off season, is for these situations and that kind of stuff, to just try and make sure that you continue to do that and continue to push that forward and continue to move that product. That way you stay on the algorithm. Yes, you may lose your reserve now at this point in time, but that's why you build these things. That's why in business you continually do that, and you continually try and keep that reserve available as you get older in business. I know for the younger people, the younger stores, the people have just come in the last year, you may not have that availability, but it's definitely some learning curve that you're going to have at this point in time. These markets can be sudden and be very, very quick and can sometimes catch you off guard. And these are the things that you really need to be considering for the business side of things. Now, investment wise, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, if you were holding on to investment, you could definitely have some really good sales right now. If you're strictly an investment, now might be a good time to start looking at capitalizing on some of that, because the investment side of things, these products are going extremely high. Now, you are riding a wave. Once again, we are riding a wave. Do I think that this is going to be a long-term situation, or could we see a retract in the market? Well, it's really going to depend on when Pokemon decides to come through with a massive reprint, if they do a massive reprint. I mean, the allocations on Journey Together shocked me when I heard Danny Phantom say that they were down so far. And the fact that I've heard that now from several sources when it comes down to the allocations right now for the people that normally get early allocations. Even Football Pete right now is selling booster boxes at $200 a piece. Absolutely insane that we would be doing that kind of pricing out of Football Pete. Typically, his allocations are really, really good price, and you can get in on some really good pre-orders on his as well. So it kind of tells you the street that we're on right now and where we're going currently on Journey Together. As it goes for the business front of things, anybody that did leave money with me, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to get the booster boxes for the people that left money with me to push forward to this set. The distributor said it shouldn't be a problem to get them, but once again, they're not promising anything anymore, which is really, really scary, because you talk to your sales rep for these distributors almost weekly just to see what's available. So they email me a list every week of things that they find or things that are available, and a lot of it's just garbage product. I mean, let's be 100% honest, as everybody knows. You go to the shelf right now, and there is a list of what I call garbage products that just don't sell. Shrouded Fable on the shelves, still available out there. These little EX boxes or premium collection boxes sitting around forever. We have the Vision and that Walking Wake tins are sitting around for all over the place. They just don't have much value in them, and that's the problem. Is that even the packs inside of them for the price of the tin still have not come up high enough to make that worth the value of doing that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen, and the fact that the allocations are not improving on Journey Together really makes me worried for the Team Rocket set coming up as well, considering all the hype and the FOMO that's coming behind that set already. a lot of people are already saying they're skipping Journey Together for Team Rocket. But if we don't see an improvement in allocations in Journey Together, that makes me very concerned for Team Rocket, which is going to have a lot of people chasing that set. A lot of people are going to be going after Team Rocket just for the nostalgia factor, let alone the set itself. And let's be honest, Journey Together really it's got a interesting set. It's not a bad set by any means. I think that there's some good SIRs inside of it. I think that Reshiram card very very hot. Overall, really really clean looking cards in there, but in general, I don't think it's going to be nearly as strong as for even collectability as that Team Rocket set. So it's going to be one of them sets that typically would be like a Paradox Rift or a Temporal Forces, kind of that middle ground set. Has something to offer, but definitely not like lighting the world on fire where you'd normally go beat down a door to go get it. You would just go buy it as you're buying groceries at the store. I'm going to buy a few sleeves of this and just have some fun. And that's how this set kind of feels. But because of the fact that the way that allocations have been in the market, people are so hot for Prismatic Evolutions right now that they are literally just going after it like crazy, chasing those Master Balls, chasing Umbreon, all the stuff that's inside of that set. That it's almost like a feeding frenzy at this point in time, and it's just like that undulating. I want to say that undulating, just continual churning of people wanting to open things at this point in time, and they can't find it. So the piranhas are getting hungry. So anything that falls in a tank right now is just disappearing, just because of the fact that it's something, and it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something they can rip, they're going for it. And even now, I'm still kind of laughing about it. Shrouded Fable is still sitting on the shelf. It amazes me that I thought, with all of the stuff and all of the product being gone, that Shrouded Fable would be gone. There, I can still go to Walmart right now locally. I can still get ETBs. There's like 3 ETBs left on the shelf. There's been like 4, so someone finally bought one of the ETBs. There's 6-pack bundles on the shelf. There's 3-pack blisters on the shelf. I mean, there is still product of Shrouded Fable sitting there all over the place. And the fact that it hasn't been moving to me is just kind of interesting at this point in time, that we still don't see that set getting eaten up. So it's kind of given the futuristic view of that set when it comes down to the investment opportunity potential inside of those. So the other thing is too is that we are getting new products out there, just for a heads up for anybody out there to be watching in the stores. I'm looking at the release date on these. It looks like they'll be releasing on March 11th or April 11th. We will be getting the Iono Billy Bolt EX Premium Collection Box, and there is another Charizard EX Collection Special Collection coming out as well. So the pre-orders just came out for that today. So we'll have to get the, I don't know if I'm going to order much of this. I probably might order a case of each one just to have stuff. Because the Charizard EX box, they do show 2 packs of Surging Sparks, 1 Journey Together, and a Paradox Rift in it. Whether or not that'll be the packs is yet to be seen, but it does come with a special promo for the Charizard EX as well. So there is something coming with that as well on that part of it. So, but overall, I mean, it's pretty dismal right now for what's available out there in the market. And even some of the stuff that was really slow going is just not really moving all that much. So, but yeah, like I said, just when it comes down to business, guys, if you guys have been holding stuff back thinking it's an investment, now's the time to be considering whether or not you want to have an investment or you want to have a business, because you're going to want to start fortifying your shops. You're going to want to try and put something out there. And I wouldn't list like high quantities of anything, just quantities that get people in there to have something to look at and something in your store to potentially sell, so that the algorithms continue to push to you, because you don't want to lose them algorithm pushes. You definitely want to be giving yourself that fortification to have something. So, for example, even the sleeve blisters. I'm not listing 144 sleeve blisters on any site right now. I'm only listing them in like 25 to 30 pack groups, because I don't want someone to come in and just buy them all out and give me nothing again. So I'm trying to slowly release that into the market as well, where I can kind of continue to keep product on the shelf and raising your prices. I mean, the other factor is too is to try and keep stuff on your shelf. If people want to buy it, you're gonna have to raise your prices a little bit too, just to keep it on the shelf. And that's another. It depends on what you want to do. Like I said, the problem is that we get to these situations, and sometimes I don't like charging market value, but you don't want to be too far under market, because if you are, you're just going to get cleaned out. And once again, it's one of those preservations. The price may look expensive on the shelf or on the store, but there's also a reason that I'm doing that, is because I want to keep some product behind. I want to make sure that if someone's buying it, that number one, I'm making money on it. Number two, I'm trying to deter a little bit of sales at this point in time, as much as I hate to say that, because I don't want my shelves being cleaned out where I don't have product to be able to sell. So I'm selling high intentionally. And some people would sit there and say, "Well, you're scalping yourself." Well, not really, because it's a preservation tactic rather than a I'm trying to make maximum money. I'd rather sell less at this point in time, keep some inventory so that that inventory will last longer and it doesn't mess with my algorithm as much. Once again, that preservation mode is kind of kicking in a little bit on my end, just trying to make sure that we have something for people to look at, because at least they come to the shop, they click on it, and then it shows interest in the shop. Then once again, it keeps people moving in there, and then you have opportunities to do that. And that's another thing that we just have to continually do too, and that you're going to see more shops probably doing too as they get into preservation mode with the drought of products. So hopefully we get a lot of Journey together. I don't know. I know I have allocations. I think I had, trying to remember if I got 10. I usually don't buy booster boxes, but I had people looking for booster boxes, and I felt that this might be a case. So I did put out for like 10 cases of booster boxes, and I got 4 cases of the sleeve blisters and 1 case of 20 or the 6-pack bundles as well. So I have a pretty hefty allocation for myself. Um, so that way I can cover, I got like 2 people that have product that I owe them for the booster boxes from before. We're just rolling it into the next one. So, and charging you what I'm getting it for. So yeah, it's definitely going to be tough, and it's going to be interesting to see what we can get and how this is all going to roll out when it's all said and done. So hopefully we can get something from Distributor at least this time to keep the shop going and put some product on the shelf. I mean, I hate to see $200 booster boxes on rollout, but once again, you got to, number one, self-preserve, and number two, you have to equate for the fact that we're getting low allocations again, and other bigger sources are saying that. That's definitely going to be an overall factor when it comes down to how business is going to be run. So if you're a scalper, you can call any of us a scalper at this point in time, but you're going to see more shops starting to raise their pricing, even if they would normally sell it at MSRP. I mean, I saw even Danny Phantom's video. He's selling them at 160. He's at MSRP, normally 110. So even he's pushing it up to 160 on a booster box, and it's more self-preservation. And if you're going to be short on your normal allocations, you have to have that throughput somehow. So that's another way to do it as well. So there's a couple. Basically, I wouldn't get mad at very many stores, shops, online shops, or anything at this point in time, because they are going to be going into self-preservation mode, especially if they're only Pokemon. Now, if they have like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, all the other stuff that they sell, then this may not be a thing that they're doing. You might be able to get the product at a reasonable price, and so that's going to continue to be a good thing for them, for those stores. So someone like Mason at Cardinal Gaming, just like before, when Pokemon wasn't available, other things may have been available to where he was able to move his cash flow a different direction and still be able to potentially keep his store running and have everything run at a fairly good pace. But not having it and Pokemon being your primary thing, and that's what you buy, and you don't get it, you have to do stuff to keep the lights on, or number one. And number two, you have to look at ways to keep your algorithm alive, especially if you're an online business primarily, whether you're TikTok, whether you're a website, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, any sales site, even any sales site that you're currently using right now, you're definitely going to have to try and keep that algorithm alive. You're going to want to try and keep it fed a little bit, and you got to have something to offer so people can click on things and look at it in your store. You don't want to be way out of whack where you're not having anybody where they hit your storefront and they're leaving right away, because that doesn't look good. But you want to have enough meat in there to where you might deter some people, but have enough people looking at product where you might be at like that market value. You might be running market value prices, just because if it sells at that market value, it's going to sell slower than if you sold it at like the regular MSRP or your normal sales prices. So yeah, she's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully we see a huge reprint of product here shortly. At this point, I'm normally, as an investing side of things, I don't like big reprints, but for the business side of things and for the actual health of the hobby itself, we really need a big reprint, and we need something in this market to once again kind of flush it. We need to flush out all the people. We need to flush out Safeway and Ace Hardware and all these hardware stores. Why are hardware stores carrying? I just went to my hardware store up in Hayward up here. Never had Pokemon. Now they have Pokemon. So it's like it becomes popular, and all these little mom and pop places start carrying Pokemon. A gas station carries Pokemon. on the way to Rice Lake, and it's like, why do you have Pokemon at this gas station? It's just product that it's like Danny. I'm going back to Danny Phantom just because it's the most recent. I watched this video here a couple days ago, and he really did strike home when you're looking at the business front. Is the fact that you know, like he said, they're buying 100. Let's just say they're buying 100 of these bottles. Well, if they want to buy 10,000 of these bottles, well, I want this Pokemon set, or I'm not going to buy these 100,000 bottles from you anymore. So it's like the distributors need to really just stop and say, hey, we're not getting the product. We have businesses that have been loyal to us for a long period of time. We will fill 90% of their allocation, and whatever's left we'll distribute to the people, the newest accounts. Just work down a tier system. This is the top accounts. They've been with us for 10 years. They get everything they want. Okay, now we're down to the ones that are in the 5-year mark. Okay, now you're going to get at least 75% of your allocation. There you go. You're getting 75. Okay, now we're down to the 1 to 2-year companies. Good. You're going to get, 30% of your allocations. Okay, now we got everything left. We'll evenly distribute it between everybody that's a year or less. If you've been in the system for less than 1 year, you get what's left. We'll kind of divvy it up between all of you, split it up evenly between you, and that's it. I don't care if you buy 100,000 of these. We have loyalty that we need to keep. And this is once again just showing that there is no loyalty when it comes down to business with any of these companies. And then they sit there and they wonder why we're the first ones to jump ship for someone that has a little bit better pricing right over there. Well, you screwed me on the last 3 years. They got better pricing now. I'm going to go over there. Well, what do you mean? I did that with a couple of with Southern Hobby and ACD. Same thing. ACD gives me a little bit better pricing. Well, I've been with Southern Hobby a little bit longer now. And they go, well, why aren't you buying more from us? Well, because they're cheaper. And this is the exact reason why. Because the second it comes down to a market where there's no product available, I'm the first guy you kick to the curb. So why does it matter where I spend my money? I'm going to go for the best dollar then, rather than going for loyalty myself. And then, like I said, they'll be the first ones that if you listen to them, they're complaining, well, these companies have no loyalty to us. They'll just jump out at any time. Well, no, you have no loyalty to us, so why would we have loyalty to you? And that's a situation that's really bad in the markets and anymore in general. And that could be a whole nother video in every single industry, everything from employees all the way through to your wholesalers and everything else when you work in wholesaling and all that. It's a whole downhill trickle. We could go a day with that conversation. So we're not going to go there. But once again, I almost went a half an hour. I mean, it really didn't seem like I was talking a half an hour. I just kind of went and I wanted to cover a bunch of different things when it came down to where we are currently in this market, how you should be handling it right now. It's definitely something to be concerned about, especially if you're building or if you have built up. You're definitely going to want to do things to preserve that. And sometimes it means pulling reserve that you thought were going to be investment products. Sometimes it's listing things higher than what you really should be or want to be because you're trying to deter all those heavy sales and try and keep product on that site a little bit longer. That people, you don't want to be ridiculously high, but you want to be high enough to where you're not selling to everybody that comes into your store. Everybody that's chasing that low dollar item, you don't want to put your price as the lowest one out there. You don't want to compromise your store to that point. You're going to want to stay at least close to market to where you're deterring some sales where people are just going to go hunt around, but you're still going to get some sales to keep your shop and your business going. So there's definitely going to be a balancing point, and it's going to be kind of difficult here, or at least your journey together, it looks like. I haven't got my allocations. Like I said, I'm talking from other stores, other places that I know that are a lot larger, that are starting to get their first allocations out there. Danny Phantom, I know, has gotten his allocations. I do know a couple other places. I believe that even I heard that, I thought I heard in a video, I didn't watch it yet, that Eli might have gotten his allocations as well. I saw Pokenomics put up a video, or Nostalgianomics had put up a video today or yesterday about complaining about no allocations again. So I'm guessing that those two must have heard what their allocations are going to be, but I have not gotten my official allocations at this point in time. I should hear, I'm hoping this week. Typically, I would hear right around now based on the release date. With everybody getting their information, I'm usually about a week behind them. So hopefully by the end of this week, I'll know where my allocations are. So that way I can give everybody good news, bad news, let you know where we sit. So with that big rant and a half an hour gone, let's hit the chat.
Shall we, boys? Let's see, boys and girls, what do we got going on here? So we got the Gyaradex. Thank you so much for joining. We got Pika Pika in the shop. We got Poke New Foe exclusive in the shop, in the chat, and we got Civic and Blitzkrieg just rolled on in as well. Welcome on in, guys. Thank you, guys, everybody. We're gonna go through and just answer some questions or add into the chat. Pika Pika, did you decide to open your prismatic UPC cases? Hopefully, you kept it sealed. I did. I kept it sealed. So I ended up, my friend, I didn't want to open one, so my friend actually sold me. So this is one right here. That is a UPC. I actually bought one from one of my friends. He gave it to me for half price, what he should have. But thank you for that, Justin, for that one. Greatly appreciated. If you, I know you'll be watching this probably later because you work night shifts. So, but once again, greatly appreciated. He gave it to me for half price. He got two of them, and he gave me one of them. So I'll have to make it up to him at some point in time. So that way I didn't have to open my case because I really wanted one. I really wanted one to display. So it was a good. It was okay. So yeah, I did get one that's just open, and I did keep the case sealed. So I put the case in the safe. I figured that's a good place to keep that one. Where we are, the Gyaradex. He said bought a case from Football Pete for 15 or 11.50. Not proud of it. Wanted one, hoping to average down if I can, if it does come down. Yeah, and I don't know if it will. To be 100% honest with you, you might be able to get like Danny Phantom saying he's selling at 160 or he's selling an MSRP. So at 11.50, that's too. What is that? That's not quite. That's pretty close to MSRP, isn't it? So if we do 11.50, yeah, you're 192 a box, so you're still above MSRP by quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know. I think the problem is that if you're not going to do it, you might be waiting a long period of time. For the business front of things, it's definitely not ideal to be going that high because now you really are getting close to the cap of, I want to say, what people might be willing to actually spend on that. And so that's going to be an issue as well, that for the investment side of things, if it gets a reprint, it could definitely be an issue. And it's definitely one of those sets that may get a reprint if we do go into a heavy reprint, if we see what they did in Sword and Shield when it comes down to that. So that would just be my thing on that is that I wouldn't do it myself personally. I just think that a lot of times in these kind of markets, hype and FOMO, and you're afraid you're going to miss out and you're going to miss an opportunity. Even in investments, a lot of times it's just better to miss the opportunities that you think you're missing and then find out that, yeah, you could have gotten them. Yeah, they went higher. But a lot of times you find that people lose interest in those sets just because of the fact that they never got to experience them. And that might be an issue as well, that you got to look futuristically on something like Journey Together. Is it a strong enough set to really, if people aren't able to open it or don't want to open it for that price point, is there going to be enough in that set to make people want to come to it later and spend a high dollar number? That's the thing is when you're dealing with collectibles, you're not just dealing with the market, you're dealing at people's perspectives in the future, especially on the investment side of anything in Pokemon or any collectible is you're looking for what might be futuristically. You have to be looking at what people are going to want to open later. If people can't experience a set in the moment and they don't get to partake in it, a tendency is that they may not want to purchase that price or pay that price point in the future for those sets. I mean, if it's so expensive that at the beginning where people aren't willing to pay $10 a booster pack right off the bat, $8, $9 a booster pack right off the bat, is there going to be enough reasoning for them to want to come back to it later if they didn't experience it in a moment? So that's definitely a factor that could really slow down the investments as well when it comes down to some of these sets. Pika Pika, case of prismatic ETBs. That's not bad. It wasn't a case of prismatic ETBs. It was a case of Surging Sparks ETBs. I got an extra couple cases of those. I did not get any full cases. I got a total of 6 ETBs when it came down to Prismatic Evolutions. It was and came from 2 different distributors, so it was pretty weak. Let's see. We got Pika Pika. It'll go up over time, may raise and dip over the short term, but in the long term, it's golden. Yeah, I think all the sets in the long term is golden. It's just going to take a little bit of time because you're not really getting that initial investment and you don't really have the outs. And that's always the one thing that I get concerned about in a collectibles investment is when you don't have outs to get out of that Pokemon investment. If you're kind of stuck in it and you're going to lose money to get out of it, sometimes that's a little too hairy for me. You're paying 11.50. That's telling me that you're going to have to. So just out of quick math, if you wanted to resell that right now, and let's say you took the quickest source, which is going to be eBay or TCG Player, of course, are going to be your quickest sources. You got to sell those. Oop, what am I doing? So you got $192 of ET or a booster box right now. You got to figure you're going to pay 15% fees on either one of those. You got to sell them booster boxes at $220 just to break even, almost $221 to break even. So when you get up this high, it takes a lot more growth for these sets to do it. Now, am I saying that it won't do it? No, I think that it could definitely do that. I think it's really in the realm of any set right now to be able to do that, even in the short term. But the fact is that a lot of times you have to really, really consider that when you're purchasing in at these higher dollar amounts. They seem like a good investment because of all the hype and FOMO, but there again, you don't have as much leeway in them, and you got to definitely have bigger gains when you jump in at a higher amount compared to buying them at 110, 125. For example, right now you got to go up almost $30 in order to do it. If you were to buy the same set even at 125, we do the same math, you're only going to have to go up. You're only going to have to go up $18. So instead of it being 30, you're almost have the amount of money that the booster box has to go up in order for you to start making profit on those. So that's definitely a consideration too when you're buying high dollar booster boxes right off the bat, is that if they get reprints, if these things occur, it could really knock them down to where it takes a long time before you can see some value. I mean, we can look at a perfect example of those is Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage. Those two both can really be good examples of how they were over $200, $220, $230, $250 for those booster boxes. They got reprints, and to this day, you would still be upside down on those. Battle Styles, another perfect example. People are buying it for 180 out of the gate. When first release happened of Battle Styles, 180, 185 was all pretty common for a purchase of these particular products. And I even did a video where a person contacted me in the things asking what they should do since they were, bought a case at 183 and it went all the way back down to $72 a booster boxes. They were at 183 a booster box. Well, be honest with you, then you're doing like the Gyaradex has just been saying is that literally you cost dollar average and you just buy a ton at that low $72 range and you drive that overall average down to where maybe now at this point in time, if you were to buy 4 or 5 cases at $72 and you bought one at 183, that you pulled that down to where you're actually in the money zone already on Battle Styles as well. It's just taken 3 years to get to that point in time. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of digging out. It's a lot of time sometimes with some of them sets when you get a little excited and jump in on the hype and FOMO and jump in on them at these really high dollar amounts. It really doesn't have the cushioning that sometimes you're looking for. And a lot of times at this point in time, it's better just to sit back and relax and not get caught up on it unless you're, like I said, in a business situation where you can flip them for that price or you have enough following to be able to try and make at least break even to keep throughput on your store where you can, like I said, if you're in that shop situation, okay, so you're going for it at, you got to make, let's just say 250 if you figure all the shipping costs, everything like that, you got to sell packs at about $7 a pack. So if you're in a situation where you're either a streamer or you've got a shop or you've got enough following that you could do $7 a pack and get yourself ahead of that, then you're definitely going to be okay. But you have to be under the mindset too that you're going to want to turn and burn that probably fairly quick as well. So there's a lot of different little facets and mindsets you have to be watching in this current market. This is where I started my channel in this kind of situation, was because a lot of people were just saying, go, 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 buy everything because Pokemon's huge. It's the greatest thing ever. And this is where a lot of times that level-headedness can be really good to hear, to say, hey, maybe just hear me out. You're better off to just wait and see if it gets reprints, or just don't worry about missing, because if you miss a couple sets, it's not the end of the world. Yes, you may miss out on some money. You may miss out on some opportunity,
but you may also be able to make money somewhere else. So that's the thing is that you're always just kind of playing that give and take, really balancing it out for what you're willing to risk and what you think is a good risk and how you're going to assess it if something doesn't go the way that you plan. And that's going to be the big factors when you're talking about any of these things in the market. So, all right, let's see. We got Poke 4 exclusive. Are amazing rares going to be like gold stars in the future? Asking for a friend. I don't. The problem is the production level of them. You got to remember a lot of them sets, even gold stars. You know, in the production level of things, there aren't as many gold stars out there. Amazing rares are very, very common. Very, very common in the sets. You know, I don't know. Amazing rares to me are going to feel more like the what were they? The Prisms cards and those kind of things. They're too many of them. They're too frequent. They were too few. You know, they were such a small little thing. It's not like Gold Stars where it was a larger sampling size of them, and with a lot better characters on them too. I mean, the Zacian Rayquaza probably going to do fairly well. There's Raji going to do fairly well. You know, you got Raikou in there. That's going to do probably well. Reshiram probably fairly decent. Kyogre hit or miss. You know, you go down to Zacian or Zamazenta in there, probably not going to be as hot. It's definitely not going to be I don't know. I think it's definitely going to be a hodgepodge on that. Do I think any of them are going to be gold star rarity? No, not at all. I don't think you're going to see any of that kind of value on the amazing rares, in my opinion. Do I see them doing all right? They'll probably go up in value. I think they'll be okay, but I just don't see them being anywhere near a gold star value. Pika Pika. Oh, got it. Journey Together booster boxes at $1,150 a case. It's a short-term gamble, but probably okay over the long term. Not sure how well the hits would be or would do, or how heavy it gets printed. Might be worth the gamble. And yeah, that's what I'm saying is that right now, if you have the following, if you need the stock, if you need the inventory, it's definitely worth the gamble. If you're looking at an investment side of things, I'm not investing into any of this stuff currently right now. Even putting it on the shelf is not really good unless I'm getting it from a distributor. So if I'm getting it from a distributor and I want to put a case away, that's what I will do. I will not be buying it at like market prices and doing that because $190, $191 a booster box right now is just a little too rich for my blood with a brand new set. There's too many threats of reprints. There's too many threats of that market changing, and there's too many opportunities for things to change. So that's the bigger factor when it comes down to it. I think overall is that it's a short-term gamble. I think in the hype and FOMO you'll be able to turn it. If you're trying to make a turn and burn on it, you might be able to do that just with what I'm seeing so far on preliminary allocations for like Danny Phantom and that. But if you're looking for the long-term haul, I would probably be listening for reprint and trying to play that market out where you start making a little bit of capital on that. Get out of it. Just get out. And if you miss on and it doesn't get a reprint, you miss, just be happy that you made something on it. Because if a reprint happens and it gets buried, it may take a long period of time, especially with Team Rocket getting released right behind it. People are going to lose interest in Journey Together they're going to lose interest fairly fast when Team Rocket set hits. Everybody's going to shift. It's going to look like a herd of chickens. Everybody's going to go right into Team Rocket, and I could see Journey Together being forgotten for a while again because people are definitely going to be going to a nostalgic set. You're going to have all those 151 boomers coming back into it and going into that set after Team Rocket because, again, you're a nostalgic set. Everybody's going to go after nostalgia. So that's going to be a big factor when it comes down to the Team Rocket set. I just saw down here, Ancient Crypto, welcome in. Amazing rares are too common. No way on the same level as Gold Star. No, they're not going to be the same levels of Gold Star. Do I think that there'll be value in them in the future? I think that they'll have value. I just don't think it's going to be anywhere near a Gold Star, just because the rarity is completely different and the time frame is completely different when it comes down to amazing rares. The Gyarados, he said, that was my thoughts, and if it does go down, I'll be happy to pick up more and bring the cost down. Yep, cost dollar average. That would be the other option too when you're looking at the investment. Is that if you do get heavy reprints and we get it back down to 110, 115,
You can buy a bunch of cases down at that level, and you can just cost dollar averages. And we've talked about that in videos before. Let me know if you guys want to do another video on cost dollar averaging and how you could take advantage of that, because it's a good trick to have up your sleeve right now in this market. But the only thing is that if you're going to be doing it, or if you think you might need that, stock up capital now to be able to do that. That's another factor that people forget is that you got to have capital to be able to cost dollar average out of things too. So there's definitely that piece of consideration that you need to take into account. So if you want a video on it, I can do it again. It's been about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years since I did a video on cost dollar averaging, but it's definitely in these kind of markets is definitely a really good trick, a really good tool to have in your pocket and understanding how that works. So let's see, Pika Pika 100%, Civic, what's up? How you doing, Civic? Thank you for joining. Blitzkrieg, I put a hold on collecting LOL. I'm just focusing on Sword and Shield and XY blisters. Well, that's a fun little area to be into. Definitely not a bad area to be hanging out there in that XY Sword and Shield. Make sure you kind of dip in a little bit when you're going into Sun and Moon as well. There's some really good blisters available in that, unless you've already kind of filled in those gaps. Agent Crypto, once again, thank you so much for being in here. He says, question, do you think that the Genesect, Terrasect alt arts from Fusion Strike can be a $50 plus card? It's way harder to hit than SVIRs. Once again, it comes down, there's a lot of factors when you're looking at a card and why the value will go up on a card. And short term, it can be hype and FOMO. It could be because it's the latest set. It could be because, it's playable. There's a lot of factors on like newer sets and why they would do okay and why the value goes up. Now, if you're going to sit here and talk about like a Genesect or even the Inteleon was a really expensive card at one point in time. That card was pushing almost $60 as an alternate art because it was playable. So Inteleon deck was a very strong deck until the Fusion Strikes came out. So people were buying that for Inteleon decks until they realized that the Fusion deck with the Mew and the Genesect was definitely a way stronger thing. With the cross, you had the cross Fusion Strike that was used by that Mew. It was very damaging to an actual set. And then you have Fusion Strike system, which was the feed for the Mew VMAX. So that was a very playable deck. And overall, I think that it's not fan favorite enough. Could it hit $50? Yes. I think that any card, any alternate art out there currently in this market eventually could see $50. Do I see a real slow, gradual growth on a lot of these alternate arts over the next 10 years? Yeah, I could see them doing rather well over the next 10 years. It's just a matter of time. So to ask if they're going to hit $50 is kind of a randomized question. I think the question you got to ask is when would it hit $50 is probably the better question. And that could take, 5-10 years before you would see that kind of value in that card. And that may even be pushing it just because of the fact that it's not. Honestly, I don't know of anybody that's a Genesect fan. I just don't know of anybody that's going to sit there and collect Genesects. It was popular because of playability, and then after it went out of deck, after that deck went out of rotation, it kind of just dropped in value really heavily at that point in time. So Sandaconda V, I mean, there's a lot of alternate arts. I mean, Sandaconda V, do I ever see that being a $50 card? Probably not. Green V, no. I mean, I can see that maybe going from the $7 it is now to maybe 15 to 20 in the next 10 years. But I don't see that set being like the, end all be all. This is going to be a great card that everybody's going to want to collect. Once again, you got to look at the collectability of these sets and why people are going to want to buy something. And unless there's all of a sudden a big fan favorite movement towards Genesect, I just don't see it being that way. I just don't see that being the case when it comes down to it. Let's see. So the next question we got up here is going to be from Joseph. Thank you for joining, Joseph. He's got, keep it going, Andy. Always good content. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Agent Crypto's thoughts on buying battle styles from Pokemon Center. Battle styles from Pokemon Center. They still have battle styles up again because it went down. Did they put it back up? I don't think I would buy it at Pokemon Center because I still think it's cheaper on the open market, but Let me check real quick. Let's see. Battle Styles booster box. So what are we sitting at right now? So they are up $144 currently for those. And if you go to TCG Player, I can just do it quicker this way. So if I go back to Pokédata, I'm using Pokédata a lot again because it's just nice. It gives me a nice quick glimpse of all of these sets really quickly. So if I go to Battle Styles right now, what's a booster box cost of Battle Styles on the open market if you were just going to go buy it? Yeah, so I mean, you're at that point where you're at $166 currently at TCG Player on this box. eBay is about 144, so eBay is pretty comparable to TCG Player. Battle Styles on Pokemon Center. Yeah, I mean you're at 166, kind of running into the same scenario where you're kind of at with Brilliant Stars and Lost Origins before it went out on Pokemon Center is that the value of it is about equivalent if you were to sell it. So basically, right now, it's selling on Pokemon Center for about or on TCG Player for about the same amount that you would get it for off of Pokemon Center. You got to remember, if they're selling it, they're really selling it for $144 currently on Pokemon Center, just because of the fact that by the time you pay fees and you pay all the shipping and everything like that, you're going to lose about 15% of that $166. So you're still profitability wise, you're at about $144 as well. So once again, it's kind of averaging out about the same when you talk about fees. eBay is actually undervalued when you're talking about fees on that end, but I mean, Battle Size is getting to the point where it is getting to be pretty. If you haven't jumped in on it at this point in time, and don't get me wrong, you should have been. If you've been in the hobby for more than 4 years at this point in time, you should already have Battle Styles as an investment. If you weren't buying it at $175 a booster box back in 2021, all the way through pretty much all of 2022, then you've kind of missed you missed the boat on that set. If you're new to the hobby, is it a bad time to jump in on Battle Styles? No, it's just going to be a really slow gaining set. It's going to have time. It's just one of those slow gainers. It's going to gain 2, 3, 4% every year. It's just going to be one of them consistent gains that are out there in the market. So, once again, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just looking for a long-term potential gain, Battle Styles would probably work. If you're just looking for a consistent slow gain, Battle Styles would work. If you're looking for something with high volatility and a chance at some really high gains when it comes down to a Pokemon investment, Battle Styles is still it's not going to be that for you. Let's see here. Thoughts on Fable? I already talked about it. That set just baffles me that even with nothing else on the shelf, people will not buy that set. And I partially get it. I mean, I know even on TikTok, it's a big battle. There's a lot of people out there right now, trying to push it and stoke it and make it sound better, telling you that hey, people are forgetting about. I mean, I've heard everything on that set at this point in time, but yet you still go to Walmart and it's still sitting on the shelf. It just does not go anywhere. And realistically, Mason and I talked about it on live. Is that it doesn't really make sense for the set. I mean, we're starting to see value in the cards going up right now, and I think number one, the Persian is starting to finally draw forward. It's finally the number one card set in the whole set, which is finally where it should be at $75 currently. I always thought that card should have been the number one, but that Earthen Vessel held that title since it's been released. And that Earthen Vessel right now is definitely still holding, but that's definitely a playable card. So as rotation and things happen with that card, I could see that one losing value because let's be honest, nobody's really collecting gold trainers for a collection. I mean, I know there's someone out there. I know that there'll be someone out there and someone's going to come onto this and say, I'm always collected. Yeah, that's fine. But in general, I don't have any trainer cards that I have as a collection piece. They're just playable when I get them. Houndoom, another one. That one's been pushing now. When even about a week or a couple weeks ago, this one was what, like $28, $30, and now it's already pushing 50 as well. So, because we were $23 because I bought it at around $25. I bought a couple copies of it, and now it's been pushing all the way up to around that $50 range. So we've seen that Houndoom Doom go up as well, and it's kind of retracted a little bit. The Persian had a little bit of a spike as well. So right now, currently, the Persian 75. That was another one that if you went back, I bought it at a couple of them at $30 back in December. And yeah, they were $29 in December, and now we're up to. So TCG Player says 75, but I'm seeing Card Market and eBay both at about 50. So I don't know if I'm looking at recent sales even on eBay. So no auction, buy it now is about $55 on that right now on eBay. There's a couple 70s. There's one $80 or $90 one, but there's a bunch in that $40, $50 range as well. So it's kind of all over the place. And I'm kind of looking at, because I can sit here and see who's been buying them as well. I'm seeing a lot of consistent names buying them up. So if I'm looking down PokéDad, it actually shows you the winning names of these, and I'm seeing so a lot of the high dollar ones right now. The $80, the $90 one was actually purchased. The 90, a 80, a 70, or a $78 one. Another $80 one down here. They were all bought by DGTCG. So they're buying a lot of them right now. And I'm also seeing a lot of this this KGRB83 and JAAK-2257. They have bought out of the high-end ones. Those three have bought a majority of them. So there again, is someone trying to stoke it up, trying to sell product? I'd be curious that if I were to look up those particular accounts, if they would be selling Shrouded Fable or selling singles. Are they trying to stoke the product? I mean, we've seen that before where people will try and stoke singles and buy out singles in certain areas in order to raise that price up. Number one, to sell their singles at a higher volume. But number two, trying to create some FOMO on the set that just doesn't seem to be selling. So it's definitely something to be looking at and watching. At this point in time, I don't think by the number of sales that they're really influencing a ton. It's just interesting that their names are on like the highest selling ones. So the ones that are down around that $50 to $40 range are all random people, but when you get up over $76, the number of people who are buying them are becoming very small. So it's something to be watching, but I don't know if it's going to be an overall, big influence future or overall. I know it's influencing some. It's just, is it going to make a big difference where people are going to buy Shrouded Fable in droves? I don't know. Let's see. Blitzkrieg. Yeah, I bought a few of the challenge boxes. Nice. Nice. Agent Crypto. He says Genesect Alt Art is great in my opinion. It's a mascot on the Fusion Strike box, booster box, and on the sleeve packs. Well, like I said, some people are gonna like it, but once again, you can say a lot of cards are mascots and they never caught value. I mean, overall, it's really just gonna depend on the market. And once again, fan favorite Pokemon will always drive harder than anything else, and that's a big factor that always when you're looking at futuristic, and if you like it, you like it. I mean, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong. I'm not gonna sit there and say that it's not going to do well. It's just realistically, it's not a fan favorite Pokemon, so it's going to be really hard futuristically to find people that are going to want to buy that at a higher value. Oh, let's see. Blitzkrieg. Yep. Collect what you want, crypto. Exactly. Do it. Buy what you like. Once again, that's the beauty about Pokemon. You can buy anything that you like. You can buy any Pokemon you like. You can buy any card that you like. And most people won't judge. It is what it is. It is what you make it when it comes down to collecting. Agent Crypto is the new play buying out singles. Buying out singles has been tried several times. There's always the conspiracy, and I didn't use Pokédata back at that point, but that like the Machamp was bought out at that release because it was a really slow or a little really low print rate. It seemed like at the beginning, so it was really thought that it was bought out because it jumped so far so fast, and then retracted extremely just as fast back down. So yeah, I mean buyouts they're difficult. If you have a lot of money, it's possible. But the fact is that it's very difficult to actually pull that off because the thing is that if the price goes up in value, so let's just say for example, let's just use Obsidian Flames. Perfect example of a buyout situation. So let's say that you want to do Obsidian Flames and you want to buy out the Charizard EX when it was $50 or $36. You wanted to buy that out because you thought futuristically it would do well. You thought futuristically it would be a great opportunity to get into. So, and you wanted to stoke that price. So you could go to TCG Player, you could go to eBay, you could go to Toad and Troll back in the day, and you could literally buy every one of them that was out on the market at that point in time for, let's just say $10,000. You had $10,000, you bought them all. Everything that was available in the market you could find. The problem is that in most buyouts in Pokemon TCG, when you do them on early sets, such as Obsidian Flames, if you were trying to do it right now, like on, let's just say, Prismatic Evolutions, or you're trying to do it on Surging Sparks, the problem is that there is still stock available on like these products. So you can sit here and go, okay, I'm going to see the value of this spike because everybody's going to start opening this product. And when they start opening this product to try and find Charizards because they're selling at a higher value, you start to actually inverse it and create the products to go up in value, which is where I kind of question on like the Persian and the Houndoom. When I see the same people buying that same card over and over and over again at a very high value, a lot of times that can be a sign that they're buying it intentionally to raise the price, because in theory, you raise the price of the singles, it gives a reason for people to open the singles and open up the packs and open the ETBs, and they start opening all the stuff to try and get that card because now it has value. You inversely raise the price of the sealed product. So that is where I think that the buyout play would be, is if you had a lot of sealed products sitting there right now. And this is all tin hat conspiracy. Yeah, I see a few people buying really high price cards, but it's not enough to make me sit there and think that a buyout's occurring. So I'm not saying that this is currently happening in any way, shape, or form. It just looks like someone maybe doing something to try and make it look that way by maybe buying their own card at that price or doing something like that. Shill bidding it and not really paying the price, but trying to make it look like it's doing it. But when you're sitting there looking at that, your thought process is, I'm trying to sell the ETBs. So I got a crap load of Shroud of Fable ETBs. What's the easiest way right now in this market with money to sit there and try and make people open ETBs and create a shortage or start removing ETBs out of the market? Well, of course, you're going to want to get the singles up in value. Because if you get that Houndoom up in value, you get that Persian up in value, you get a couple of the other cards that I don't know if they're going to be able to do it with any of the other cards in that set. I think those are really your two best bets, though. But if, let's just say, you could push that Persian over $100 right now. So you went for it, and you got that Persian over $100. You consistently bought up every one of them that was under $90, and you pushed that card set up to $100 for the Houndoom and the Persian, and you pulled it off. In theory, what would happen is people would start opening up those ETBs to try and fill that void, meaning the price of those cards, though, may go down in value. But if you're sitting on 100,000, 10,000 ETBs that you can't move, and you get that card up by buying it, you could theoretically sell out those ETBs when they get up in value to where people want them. You sell all those out, you make your money back, and then you sell the cards quick into the market slowly, and you can recoup as much of that money off the card sales as you can. And pops your uncle, there you go. You've tried to sit there and shill the market to try and do that. Now, that's not realistically, it's not easy, and you got to have money to do it. So you're going to be in a smaller group of people, a smaller subset of people that are actually going to be able to pull that off. So buyouts, difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. All right, so what do we got? No, it's kind of late buying into singles, in my opinion. You might as well buy some vintage base singles cheaper. Yeah, exactly. What are you buying these days? Not much of anything. Be 100% honest. I'm really not buying much right now. It's not really a buyer's market at this point in time. If you're looking for an investment, there really isn't a really good stock of investment to get into right now, just because the prices are so out of whack. If you're looking at singles, There's still some singles that you could be chasing and try and get in front of. I mean, the Houndoom and the Persian were two of them that we've talked about before as singles that you could probably try and get in front of. But now even that's kind of disappearing because I think there's a few things going on there. But I think in general, people are just finally noticing those two cards in Shrouded Fable because more people are opening them. More people are getting interest because that's the only thing that's left. So yeah, I mean, it's getting really difficult because my worry is at this point in time, I'm waiting for a course correction. Something is going to eventually correct this market. It's only a matter of time. So getting out of position at this point in time is just not necessarily the best idea. I mean, it's getting to be more of a scalper's market and it's getting more of a seller's market than it is an investing market at this point in time. So realistically, it's a lot of sit and wait. Bide my time and really try and find some things that I'm looking for collections at a reasonable price. So get in them some of them early before they do go up in price, or B, get into them a little bit later and B, just dig them out and try and find those really good valued products. Let me see. We got Poke Center. Welcome on in. Okay, you guys caught me. I'm the one buying all the singles on eBay. Oh, we found him. He's buying them all. He's the guy that's doing this. Had to be that guy. The Gyaradex, thoughts on the Terrapogus UPC long term? I don't know. It seems decent. Gonna be definitely. I don't think it's gonna be explosive as like the Charizard one, but I could definitely see it consistently going up in value. So I don't know. I think they're a decent set. I think it's a decent product. I think there's some good cards inside of it. There's some good opportunities in it. So yeah, I mean I think it's decent. I think the Greninja one too is going to be all right as well. I mean, right now it's been sitting at about $105 currently on it. So you're way under, MSRP currently on that part. But the good news is there isn't any of them at distributors. So it's not like it was, it's not like it's one of them sets that's sitting around forever and not just hanging around all over the place. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to do really well. I think the Greninja one's going to do a little bit better personally, and it has been at this point in time. So, I mean, if you buy it, if you would have picked it up at 120, it's been sitting at about 130 to $140 the last, few months since it's been released. So overall, definitely some opportunity there too for that one to slowly go up. So I think the Greninja one is personally going to be a little bit better, but Terrapogus is definitely not a bad one either. I think any of the UPCs have enough of a following behind them for people collecting them. And if you're looking at an item to collect, they're actually really, really few and far in between, comparatively to like an ETB where you got to buy 1, 2, possibly 3, 4 of them per set. It's definitely a little bit different than, like the UPCs down here or the ones behind me, is that you only got to buy 1 to 2 per year, usually 1, if not 2 at the most per year. And it's a little bit more affordable, especially if you can get it in on the pre-orders and stuff and hold on to them. So futuristically, even if someone's trying to collect them and get that for a collection piece, there's definitely going to be some really good opportunities for people to want to get those, because they don't have to buy thousands of them to get up to date with the collection. They only right now have to buy, what is it, one. So there's the Celebrations, the Mew, the Charizard, the Arceus, the Greninja, and the Terrapogus. So realistically, there's 7 of them right now that you'd have to get into. And your most expensive one right now is the Celebrations, and I think that Charizard one is pushing heavy right now to try and catch that one. So yeah, I think any of the UPCs though are going to be decent. I don't think that you're going to be too upset with that purchase, because was there a UPC last year? Yeah, the Mew one was last year. The Charizard was already 2 years ago. The Charizard and the Arceus one. Because we had the Charizard. The Charizard one was pushing $200 last time I looked. Yeah, $215 for the Charizard one. Where is the Arceus one? They don't have the Arceus one on here? Come on. Come on, man. Gotta have, oh, there it is. So the Arceus is pushing 185. And that was a GameStop promotional one. Crypto, ever heard buying the dip? That's when you start to buy up products for future gains. Yep, exactly. We always play the dips. Right now is not a dip. I'm not buying any. For investment, I am not buying anything. realistically, it's very slim pickings. Most of the stuff I'm picking up right now is business stuff that I'm trying to actually fill my shop with and keep stream sales going just to keep that algorithm happy. So, yeah, investment wise, not a very investment friendly market at this point in time. If we get a huge reprint, then I might be buying a ton, just because like Blitzkrieg just said, you buy the dip. You buy the dip, you buy it at that low point. You try and guess the low point, you'll never hit the bottom usually. You'll always be somewhere close. You kind of read the market for what you're seeing when you see a flat line. I like to usually buy right when it starts to turn up again, because that turn up is usually the point on where I want to potentially look at buying it at that point. Piker Mike, welcome on in. Speaking of Pokemon Center, they are doing Canadian dirty by charging tax on the Canadian site, even though all things Pokemon are tax exempt up here until February 15th. Sent 3 emails so far, no answer. Raking in extra profit, and certainly aren't sending the taxes to the Canadian government. And that could be. The thing is that they might have preemptively kicked in the tax early. They, who knows? I mean, it's government is or companies are going to take advantage where they can. And from what you're telling me is that it would not surprise me that a company would try and take advantage of a situation. So, yeah, Piker Mike, I get it. It would be really frustrating, especially if you don't have to worry about it until April 15th or February 15th. But, once again, you're fighting a big company and they really don't care about your email. Unless you got 100,000 Canadians all getting up in arms and joining in protest, they probably are not even paying attention to your emails, which sucks. But it always sucks when that happens. But on the other hand, it's really hard to fight something like that, just because they're just gonna sit there and say that they go by year. So I know there's companies I've done that with before, where like I have a company and they still charge me tax, and it's like, okay, but I have a tax exempt, because I'm literally buying it for resale. So why are you charging me tax? Well, because we just charge everybody tax because it's easier. So what do you do with the extra tax at the end of the year? Well, you're pocketing it. We know what you're doing. So it's just one of those things. It is what it is sometimes, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it. You can complain all you want, but they're just gonna go, yeah, but they're gonna look at my sales for the whole year. I'm not gonna cut out that first month and a half. We just started this at the first of the year, and that's when we start. That was the start point, just to make it easy for figuring it out. So I've heard every excuse on that. All right. Well, there we go. Blitzkrieg, what do you think about the new UPC announcement? We aren't never gonna see that around. Yeah, because what's the new one? Was there a new one announced? Because I heard someone else say that, and I haven't really had the time to go look for it. Ultra Premium Collection. What's the new one here? Yeah, it was 5 months ago. I don't see an announcement for it, but yeah, I don't see an announcement for that one, Blitzkrieg. I'm just kind of looking for it, but oh yeah, if it's why am I not seeing that one? Why is that not coming up? Oh, here it is. Super Premium Collection. Ooh, yeah, it's not an ultra premium, it's a super premium collection. But yeah, that's going to get scalped to death. Cool little thing, though. Yeah, but that's in Japan. Okay. So where's the ultra premium collection? Because there's the Prismatic Evolutions figurine collection. You have to look into that one. I haven't even seen it yet either. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Now they got me on a search, like, where is this thing? Where is it? I don't see it. I see a Japanese version. They come out with a The EV food being a promo card. Huh. Great. So now they're going to kill that promo even out of the ETBs. Very nice. Is it worth it to throw hands for Blooming Waters at Costco? No one. Okay. All right. I'm going to close up with that one. That's a very good one to talk about because everybody's being duped right now on this Blooming Waters. I hate to tell you this. And it may go this way, but it may still continue this way. But the only place that's released is Costco, guys. This isn't a Costco exclusive. This is not a Costco exclusive. You could have bought this through Distributor. So this product is going to be everywhere. This isn't Costco released early. We don't know why. We don't know why Costco released so early. Sam's Club is getting this thing. GameStop is getting this thing. Your local LGS is getting this thing. Walmart's getting this thing. Target's getting this thing. This thing is going to be everywhere. This is not going to be a lightly printed item. If that's what Costco got and what we saw roll through Costco at this point in time, there is still a ton of that product coming. It doesn't release until February 7th. It releases on Friday, guys. So Friday will be the release date of that product. So Costco went early. So all these people killing each other at Costco for this Blooming Waters box, I think Costco is a good gauge that there is going to be a lot of this product, considering some of them Costco's are bringing out like 2 pallets of that product. So there is going to be a ton of it. These people right now killing each other, and do not buy this product anywhere right now. Wait until after February 7th before you even consider it. So no, I wouldn't be throwing hands at Costco. There's going to be more of this available. There is going to be a large amount of this still releasing because it's going to be everywhere at that point in time. So I would just wait and hold out and, just hold it up and just see what's going to happen because there's going to be plenty still coming. It's going to be Best Buy is going to carry it. Target, Excel is going to be shipping this thing out. MJ Holdings is going to be shipping this thing out. All of our distributors are selling this thing out. It is going to be all over the place. It was even on Pokemon Center, I believe. So, yeah, no, this thing is going to be everywhere. It just has not released everywhere yet. So basically, all you're doing is if you're buying into that right now, you are buying into someone's hype and FOMO. Because I believe this thing sold on Pokemon Center too, or am I mistaken on that? Because I thought this thing was on Pokemon Center too. Pokemon 151. Let's see. Because I could have swore this thing was on Pokemon Center. All the Pokemon 151 stuff is gone off of there, so I can't even find it. So yeah, there is definitely not going to be any shortage of those freaking packs. They are going to be everywhere. So don't get caught up on the fact that Costco is literally, they're having fistfights for it in Costco. It's irrelevant. There's still going to be a ton of this coming. Plenty of time to wait for it. Don't be fighting for it. Just wait. There's going to be enough coming to where you don't have to be too concerned about that at the end of the day. So, yeah, I don't know why Costco released so early because it doesn't release until this Friday. Let's see. I'm just going to do one little wrap up here to see if there's any other questions here. Oh, yeah. I saw that, but didn't click that super premium in Japan equivalates to a UPC. And yeah, that's the one I'm seeing it's a Japanese 151. It's not, it's actual Pokemon 151. It's not Scarlet and Violet 151. So unless I'm missing the UPC in English, but yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. That or a prismatic one. I'm not seeing a prismatic one. So, because we already got the Mew one. So yeah, I'm not seeing a prismatic one. If it's out there, I'll do some research here and see if I can find what we got going on with that, if there is one. But I have not seen any pre-orders for it. So if it's coming through, it did not come through on our distributors at all. So I don't know. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, Blooming Waters will forever be a tainted product. Hopefully the scalpers get stuck with the bags. They will for a little bit. 151 will sell quick anyways, but I mean it's definitely, don't buy it right now. There's plenty to come yet. There's going to be a lot in that market. There's going to be opportunities to get it. I know people are going to fist fight over it for no reason. I'm sure when the pallet hits at When that pallet hits at Sam's Club, there's probably going to be 2 people trampled to death trying to get the things. That's just the way it's going to go, which people are just crazy to even do that. It ain't worth it. To me, it's not worth a fight for a product. I will pass on it and not get into a fight. It does not make sense. Let's see. Blooming Waters Forever Tainted. Blitzkrieg says, aha, Pika. That's why. That's why right now everybody wants to flip their Prismatic because their bots are. Yeah, exactly. Their bots overbought it. I think Prismatic and 151 ETBs are pretty solid, but not Blooming Waters. I think Blooming Waters will be solid eventually because it's got a lot of nice packs. And the pull rates out of those have been almost like the Sky and Sea and Sky boxes for Crown Zenith too. They were really, really good hit rates from what I've been hearing. So people have been really happy with the hit rates out of those. So we'll see. I mean, overall, I think that there's an opportunity. Futuristically, I think there's also going to be an opportunity to play the dip a little bit on it before you go crazy and go buy a ton of it, because there's still going to be a ton of it coming. Just because Costco released early does not mean that this is going to be the norm, and that doesn't mean that there's not going to be opportunities to buy it on a dip when all this product hits the shelf. So yeah, definitely consider that when you're looking at it, and take your time. Watch the markets. We're going to see a little bit of a dip as things move on, and we're going to have other opportunities. Yeah, for packs for price, it's a great deal. If you can get it at MSRP, it's a fantastic price. You can't go wrong by any means for the number of packs inside of there. And if the hit rates are as good as what they've been seeing, what I've been seeing on them so far, it's definitely going to be a great product overall. So, but yeah. Other than that, guys, I'm going to call it quits here. I see it's already almost 10:30, so my wife's going to be pounding on the door here in any second now. But greatly appreciated everybody that's hung out. And overall, guys, thank you everybody that supports the channel. If you do want to help support the channel, of course, my goal this year is to try and get a cup of coffee per day per month. And I'm always going to put that out at the end of the video. So if you'd like to help me out on that and get me there, make sure you check out the shop, or check out the channel membership for $2.99. You can do that and help me out this month or this year. So other than that, thank you everybody that's joined in, and hopefully you guys are having a good week moving forward. Once again, get ready for Friday, because that is when the Blooming Waters boxes will be hitting the shelf. Journey Together, going to be an absolute S show as of right now from what I'm hearing. I'll let you know when I get my allocations where we sit. I'll try and put that up on Discord as well, so that way I keep up to date with you guys on what's going on with that as well. There's 2 people that I know I want to fill their orders on those, so I'm trying to at least get enough to cover the 2 people that I have back ordered. I have some people that are wanting it if I can get it, so I will be bringing that up as well, or bringing that forward for you guys as well. So once again, overall, guys, thank you everybody for joining. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I'm going to try and get a video posted, edited, and posted here by the end of the week. I know I keep saying that like every week, and it's like every week I've been dealing with no heats and called. Dad retired because he's had some health issues, so he's completely retired right now for at least the next 6 months. So I've been extremely busy just trying to keep up with work. So trying to sit down and edit has been extremely difficult right now. So I do have videos recorded. Some of them are long-term relevant. Some of them are short-term, so I got to get them out. One of them is going to be, I always do the year-end wrap-up of how my business did this year. I need to get that out because we're already coming into February. So I want to get that posted for you guys. So like last year, I broke down where my percentages were and how much my totals were in each one of those blocks. I'm going to do the same thing this year so you guys can see the changes from one year to this year in the business side of things and what's been occurring or where the business has been shifting, because last year it was mainly a TCG player, and that's not the case this year. Things are definitely moving. So once again, guys, thank you everybody for joining in this evening. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. As always, thank you and God bless, and we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.